Are you planning to buy Semirara Mining and Power Corporation / SCC for your stock investments or for your dividend strategy? O baka naman you already have SCC and you are worried because dividend yields and dividends have been decreasing in recent periods. So you're currently confused if you should still hold or sell your SCC position. So if you want to know my thoughts about SCC, make sure to watch until the end of this video. Just a quick disclaimer, this is not professional financial advice. So the things that I'm going to talk about here is part of my own research and my opinion regarding the stock. This is a part of my trading strategy and investing thesis. Participating in the stock market involves risk. So make sure to do your own research and invest or trade at your own risk. So for this video, there are three main components that I'll be talking about, which surrounds the facts of SCC, yung thoughts ko in terms of speculation, and I'm also going to talk about the technicals or the price action of the chart. So syempre, unahin natin yung mga facts about the company and what's been happening to SCC so far. So this is a screenshot from the website mismo ng SCC, no? So Semirara Mining and Power Corporation is the largest coal producer in the Philippines, and it's the only power producer in the country that owns and mines its own fuel source. So kung titingnan mo, meron talaga silang monopoly, no? Halos pagdating sa coal production sa Philippines. And because of their vertical integration ng mining and power operations nila, they are able to contribute meaningfully to the national energy security and economic development of the Philippines. So here are the important numbers that we need to know about SCC and its recent performance. So as of October 29, the year-to-date performance of SCC is negative 4.58%. So somehow it's underperforming, no? Halos sumasabay lang because the market is also in a negative position in terms of year-to-date performance. Tapos pagdating naman sa dividends, so around 2 years ago, 2023, SCC gave shareholders a dividend of combined 7 pesos per share. So that's relatively high, no? Grabe, more than 10% yung dividend yields nila niyan. And last year, 2024, SCC gave 6 pesos per share. So mataas pa rin, but of course, compared to 2023, that means it dropped by about negative 14%. And for this year, no, recently lang sila nakapag-announce ng final dividend na ibibigay nila ngayong taon. Combined, SCC will give about 3.25 pesos per share, no, for the whole 2025, which is a more than 45% drop compared to 2024. So this has caused grabbing negative sentiment, no, sa SCC since dividend has been dropping, which explains yung underperformance niya din, and it's making traders, investors, no, shareholders worried about SCC. So the big question is, why is this happening? Bakit nag-underperform yung SCC in terms of its performance sa stock price, and why are the dividends decreasing for the past 2 years, going 3 years, no? So in order to understand why is this happening, we need to first talk about how SCC makes money. Kasi syempre, it's very important to understand the profitability of a company because of course, it's where dividends come from and it affects the performance of stock price, no? So from the website itself and from the reports of SCC, meron silang dalawang components when it comes to producing revenue. So that's your coal segment and the power generation segment. So about a third of the revenue ng SCC, so nasa 30%, nakukuha nila yung revenue na yon from power generation. While yung 2/3 or about 70% comes from the coal segment. So pag-usapan muna natin yung power segment. So under the power segment of SCC, what they do is they simply generate power or electricity and binebenta nila yon, no? Yung nabebenta nila na power is 100% domestic. So ibig sabihin within the Philippines lang. And na-mention din to kanina sa website nila, yung power segment is produced by 2 subsidiaries or yung dalawang power generation na company nila, no? Which is the SEM Calaca Power Corp or SCPC, and yung isa pa is the Southwest Luzon Power Generation Corporation or SLPGC. So both of these power generation companies generate a third or about 30% of the revenue ng SCC as a whole. Yung second component or the 70% revenue mix ng SEC comes from the coal segment and it derives revenue from mining coal or coal mining, no? So dito naman sa coal segment, nadi-divide din siya. So whenever SEC is able to mine coal, a certain component of that goes to domestic sales. So ibig sabihin binebenta nila sa Pilipinas, no? And more than half, so 2/3 binebenta nila sa ibang countries. So, nagiging export natin yung coal, no? International export. Of course, these percentages differ, depende. Since pwedeng minsan, damihan nila yung international export, minsan damihan nila yung domestic. But most of the time, of course, mas malaki yung sa international export. So, under domestic coal ng mga sales, it goes to 3 industries. So, the first one, which make up the bulk of domestic coal sales, sa power plants, no? So, dito natin pinag-uusapan yung vertical integration because when SEC mines coal, nabibigay nila yung coal na yon sa sarili nilang power generation company, yung pinag-usapan natin kanina. And they also provide coal to other power plants under different companies, Ayala Group, Aboitiz Group, and SMC Group. And a small percentage of the domestic coal sales end up sa cement producers and meron din silang mga subsidiaries dyan and other industrial corporations. Pagdating naman sa international exports, there are 2 countries that mainly receive the produce of SEC when it comes to coal. And most of that coal export goes to China and a small chunk lang sa South Korea and a small percentage several other countries combined na, no? So from the previous slide earlier, ito yung itsura ng revenue mix ng SEC when you simply divide it into the coal mining and power generation. But if we update it further sa mga napag-usapan natin so far kung saan napupunta or yung mga sub-segments ng revenue mix nila, ito yung lalabas. So nakikita nyo dito na yung electricity sales, which comes from the power segment, is of course still about a third, no? 30% ng revenue nila. And coal export towards China makes even more revenue compared to the electricity sales, around 34.30%. And the next chunk ng revenue ng SEC is because of domestic coal sales, specifically sa mga power plants. So that's nearly 18%, no, of the revenue ng SEC. And after that, 9.80, so about 10%, no, halos ng buong revenue ng SEC is from the export na napupunta sa South Korea. So what can we deduce, no, with regards to this chart ng revenue mix ng SEC? China plus Korea coal exports actually make up 44.1% of SEC revenue. And coal-generated electricity make up 47.85% of SEC revenue. So, kinombine natin yung electricity sales nila tapos yung domestic coal sales na napupunta sa mga power plants, no, sa Philippines. So, kung titingnan mo, halos kalahati ng revenue ng SEC, reliant sila towards the export to China and Korea, and nearly half, no, 47.85% is still related to coal-generated electricity. So later on, pag-uusapan natin kung bakit sobrang importante ng figures na to. So another question, why is SEC down year to date yung stock price niya? And bakit yung dividends bumababa, no, in recent periods? So here's a screenshot from the Q2 report ng SEC. So hindi pa kasi nila nalalabas, no, yung Q3 report as of the recording of this video. But the figures here are in millions, no? So ibig sabihin, nung 2024 from April to June, which is of course 2024 Q2, the coal segment of SEC made about 3 billion. And if you're going to compare that directly to 2025 Q2, naging 1.8 billion lang. So that's a change of about negative 41%. Tapos sa power segment naman nila, nung 2024, they were able to make 2.9 billion. And for 2025 second quarter, it became 2.3 billion, which is a negative 20% drop. So ibig sabihin, sa core net income nila, no, negative 33% drop yung nangyari. Tapos kung titingnan naman natin yung first half performance nila sa 2025, that's 4.2 billion. And the same period last year, so January to June 2024, around 7.3 billion. So it changed by negative 42% yung coal segment nila. Pagdating naman sa power, last year, no, first half ng 2024, 5.1 billion. Tapos, yung first half nila ngayong 2025, 4.3 billion. So that's a change of negative 16%. So again, core net income is negative 33%. So, bakit bumaba yung performance ng SEC YTD? So, it's because their income, the revenue is decreasing talaga. So, of course, the performance of the stock price is bababa, no? And bakit naman bababa yung dividends? Syempre, income is decreasing. So, paano sila makakapagbigay ng mas malaking dividends or paano nila ma-maintain yung same dividends na binibigay nila kung nagde-decrease yung income. So, that's the main reason, no, kung bakit nakikita natin yung mga ganitong figures sa SEC. So, the follow-up question is, why is this happening? Bakit bumababa yung revenue and core net income ng SEC when it comes to the power segment and the coal segment? So, the first reason, meron kasi tayong drop in global coal prices. So, nakikita nyo dito sa line chart ng seaborne thermal coal futures. So, these are several line charts of different benchmarks, no? But ano yung nakikita natin sa line chart na to? Sobrang taas ng nangyaring pag-increase ng price ng coal from 2021 up to 2022 and 2022 towards 2023. And it actually peaked by mid-2022, no? Towards early 2023, and bumababa siya ng bumababa. So, we can see that by first quarter 2023 or second quarter 2023, nagsastabilize na yung price ng coal. That's why, if we're going to look sa performance ng 2024 up to 2025, hindi naman na masyadong nag-improve yung prices ng coal. So, what does that mean? Syempre, since ang business ng SEC ay pagbenta ng coal, kung yung nabebenta nila is mahal na product, of course, they're going to make more revenue and possibly more income. So, kung bumababa yung price na nabebenta nila, yung coal, of course, they will have a decrease in revenue and decrease in income. So, that's the reason why around 2022 and 2023, mataas pa yung nabibigay na dividend yields ng SEC. And it has been decreasing starting 2023, 2024, and 2025. So, another reason kung bakit bumaba yung revenues and net income ng SEC, prices of coal nag-decrease because there has been a decrease in the demand for coal exports. So, here's an article that was released around August 2025. Nakalagay dito, China July coal imports fall 23% on ample domestic supply. So, as we all know, the economy of China has been growing, no, for the past several years. So, of course, along with that increase sa economy nila or sa growth ng economy nila, syempre kailangan nila ng energy, no? And of course, in order to supply that energy, they need coal. Kaso lang, ang nangyayari so far, sabi nga dito sa article, mas nag-lessen yung kinailangan na coal ng China from other countries because they were able to mine their own coal and somehow nagiging sufficient naman yung supply nila sa country nila mismo. So, syempre, kung nakakapag-mine sila ng sarili nilang coal, mas mura yon, tapos mas nakikinabang yung mga negosyo or mga tao nila kasi dun yung coal mismo nakukuha, di ba? So, bakit pa sila kukuha ng mas maraming coal sa ibang countries? So, of course, since SEC relies from China na bumili ng coal nila, kung nag-decrease yung demand ng China sa coal, of course, magdi-decrease din yung revenue ng SEC, di ba? Tapos nakita natin sa figures natin, the biggest chunk of revenue ng SEC is from China. So that's why SEC is having a hard time, no, this year. Another reason, sabi nga natin, yung isang segment ng SEC is through power segment or power generation. So, coal-powered electricity or electricity generation constitutes 30% of SEC revenue. Tapos may dagdag pa when it comes to the power generation of other power plants na binibigyan ng SEC ng coal, no? So, anong mangyayari if nagkakaroon ng decline sa coal power generation? Syempre, affected yung SEC doon. Kasi yung demand sa energy na nakukuha from coal nagde-decrease. So, this is also another article around last week of July from the Institute of Energy Economics and Financial Analysis. Nakalagay dito, clean energy is driving coal's decline in the Philippines, no? Not LNG. So, ibig sabihin, one of the growth drivers no ng energy sa Pinas is leaning towards clean energy and renewables. And there is a decline in coal sa Philippines. So, sabi dito sa article, coal-fired power generation in the Philippines fell in the first half of 2025. So, nakita naman natin, 'di ba, yung 2025 na January to June ng SEC, bumaba compared sa last year na 2024. So, putting the country on track for its first annual decline in coal generation in decades. So, for the first time, no, in several decades, first time nangyari na nagkaroon ng decline in coal generation sa Philippines. So, ibig sabihin, nagkakaroon ng decline yung SEC, yung revenue nila, kasi yung mismong coal generation sa Philippines, nagkaroon na ng first annual decline. No? So, posibleng nagkakaroon na ng peak or bumababa talaga. So, for part 2 of this video, we're going to talk about naman sa speculation, no? So, I already showed this slide earlier, no, talking about China and Korea coal exports make up almost half of SEC revenue, and yung coal-generated electricity makes up nearly 50% nga of SEC revenue din. So, here are some of the biggest risks for SEC because of those figures, no? So, China and other countries' coal demand, syempre, pag bumaba yung demand or imports nila ng coal, directly affected yung SEC, di ba? So, kanina nakita natin yung China, nag-decrease yung import nila by 23%. So, another risk, global coal prices. Nakita natin na related talaga yung revenue tapos income ng SEC sa global coal prices because when global coal prices were increasing, gumaganda din yung dividends ng SEC tapos yung income nila, no? Kaya nakapagbigay sila ng dividends, syempre marami yung revenue, marami yung income nila. So, global coal prices go down further kasi ngayon nagsastabilize, di ba? Kapag bumaba yung global coal prices, then it's possible na affected din yung SEC in the future. And the third risk, since SEC relies on coal power generation, nakita natin kanina na nagkaroon ng decline, no, for the first time in decades sa Philippines. So if coal power generation in the Philippines continues this decline, kung nakapag-peak na nga talaga yung coal power generation tapos bumababa na siya, then that's a risk sa SEC kasi hihina na rin yung demand ng other power plants that rely on coal for their power generation, and yung mismong subsidiaries ng SEC, di ba, mahihirapan. So, ano yung risk when it comes to China's coal demand? So, kanina, nag-decrease yung imports nila kasi sila mismo, nagkakaroon na sila ng ample supply, no, from domestic mining. But there's another reason kung bakit at risk yung coal demand from China. So, China has built out a record amount of wind and solar power in 2024. So, this means renewable energy, no, relying on windmills, wind farms, and solar panels or solar energy, no? So, here's an article that was published nung early months ng 2025. China raced ahead building renewable energy last year, installing more wind and solar power than ever before and continuing to leave all other countries in the dust. So, China was able to put up 357 gigawatts of solar and wind, marking a 45% and 18% increase. So, the installations meant China surpassed a goal 6 years early of having 1,200 gigawatts of renewables by 2030. So, ibig sabihin, yung goal sana ng China, by 2030, dapat meron na silang 1,200 gigawatts of energy coming from renewables. 2030 dapat yung target na yon, pero napaaga kasi 2024, 2025, na-achieve na agad nila yung target na yon. So, ibig sabihin, mas magiging decreased na yung requirement nila possibly sa coal kasi nag-i-increase na nga yung energy na nakukuha nila from renewables, diba, and other sources. So, isa pang country kung saan nagre-rely yung SEC pagdating sa revenues nila, South Korea, nakita natin around 9%, no, nearing 10% yung revenue ng SEC. So, this was an article released last August 2025. So, South Korea's nuclear power output surges as coal use plunges. So, yung nuclear power generation ng South Korea noong 2019, around 25.9% lang. So, last year, naging na siyang 31.7%. During the pandemic, yung coal share sa South Korea nasa 40%. Tapos, ngayon, nasa 28.1% na lang. So, grabe yung dinecrease, no? From 40.4, naging 28.1 na lang. So, sabi din, coal use has been down due to cheaper nuclear power and grid constraints. So, ibig sabihin, Yung South Korea, nagdi-decrease na yung coal consumption nila kasi nakakahanap sila ng better alternatives, no? So, here is another report, no, from Global News. Solar has saw record growth in the first half of 2025. So, previously kasi 6.9% lang yung share ng solar sa global electricity mix. So, ngayon naging ng 8.8%, no? So, merong jump. And out of the global solar generation growth, China accounted for 55%. So, isipin mo yon, yung increase sa renewables ng dahil sa China, 55%. Followed by the US, 14%, Europe, 12%, India, 5.6%, Brazil, 3.2%. Tapos, the rest of the world only contributed just 9%, no? So, renewables overtook coal. So, a strong rise in solar and to a lesser extent wind led to renewables overtaking coal generation for the first time on record in the first half of 2025. So, nakikita talaga natin na nagkakaroon na ng shift, no, pagdating sa energy sources ng mundo, no. Hindi lang China, no, hindi lang mga maliliit na countries. Talagang makikita natin na the world is shifting towards a increase in renewable share of global electricity. So, sinasabi rin dito sa article na yung global electricity ng renewables nasa 34.33%, while yung coal is 33.1% na lang. That's a significant drop from last time kasi 34.2 tapos naging 33.1. So, nagkabaliktad, no? So, sumasakto dun sa nangyayari din sa Philippines, no? First time nagkaroon ng decline sa coal because of renewables, and ganun din yung nangyayaring trend sa buong mundo. So, here's a domestic article naman from PCIJ. The Philippines has pledged to raise renewables from 22% of the country's power generation in 2024. So, ibig sabihin, last year, no, 2024, yung renewables is only about a fifth ng power generation ng country natin. Pero ang target ng Philippines is by 2030, which is 5 years from now, mag-increase yon towards 35%, no? And by 2040, ang gusto ng Pilipinas, umabot tayo ng 50% from power generation. So at present, hydropower and geothermal dominate, but of course, growth is expected to come mainly from wind and solar. So nakikita natin na ito, no, yung renewable energy, no, gusto natin na 50%. So, coal, 13.35% and natural gas around 35.93%. So, makikita talaga natin na coal consumption in terms of power generation, no, gustong mag-decrease ng government at mag-rely more on sa cleaner energy. So, if the demand of other countries for coal will decrease, and if global coal prices decrease, and if coal power generation in Philippines ay mag-decrease din, what will happen to SEC? So, kahit saan mo tingnan, both of their revenue mix, whether it's power segment or coal segment, affected talaga ng pag-shift ng energy sources ng ibang bansa at ng mismong country natin towards renewables, and paunti-unti nang nagdi-decrease yung consumption ng coal, no, in terms of electricity and power. So, SEC knows this, and of course, its parent company, DMC or DMCI, knows this. That's why an article, no, from May nung 2023 pa, sabi dito, Semirara to boost power output and add LNG to the portfolio. So, dadagdag na sila ng natural gas, no? But as of this date, wala pang nasasabi actually na reports na meron na silang revenue or income na nakukuha sa natural gas. So, talagang reliant pa rin sila sa coal when it comes to power generation and coal mining for their exports. So, I guess that explains why yung SEC is still on a negative year-to-date performance and wala masyadong nagbabago sa stock price niya, no, since late 2023 to early 2024 because there's not much for investors or traders to bank on sa pwedeng maging future ng SEC because they're seeing na there's a possible decrease in the demand and consumption for coal in the coming years, no? So for the next part ng video na to, we're going to talk about the technicals or the chart and price action of SEC. But before we talk about technicals, may gusto lang muna akong pag-usapan on a side note. So I just checked the analytics of this channel and saw that for the past 28 days, So, for the month of October, most of you guys who are watching my videos, around 56.6% nakasubscribe na sa channel na to. And yung mga nakapanood ng mga videos for the past month, 43% are not yet subscribed. Sa ngayon, yung subscribers ng channel, around 1,181. So, if you've watched my previous videos and itong video na to ngayon, if you're finding value, if you're finding good information, and you're learning a lot, sobrang makakatulong sa channel na to if you hit that like button and subscribe so that this channel can reach its next milestone na 2,000 subscribers. And pag nangyari yon, pag umabot tayo ng 2,000 subscribers, I'll make sure na mas magiging better yung mga content at mga topics na pag-uusapan natin in the future. So, balik na tayo ulit sa discussion. So, for the technicals of SEC, bago tayo pumunta sa mismong price chart ng SEC, I want to go back dun sa price chart or line chart ng coal prices. So, andito tayo sa line chart ulit ng Seaborne Thermal Coal Futures, and what do you notice sa galaw ng prices ng coal from 2021, 2022 towards 2023? So, kitang-kita natin na uptrend or pataas yung prices, no? So, makikita natin dito from 50 to 100. Pumalo talaga siya ng 300, 350, and even 400 na price area. Tapos, by 2023, yung prices, no, galing 350 and 400, bumalik ulit, no, towards 200, 150, and 100 na price area. And moving forward from mid-2023 towards 2024 and up to 2025, prices have stabilized and are in a sideways motion. So, bakit ba nagkaroon ng increase in price sa coal during 2021 to 2022? So, syempre, alam naman natin because of the pandemic, nagkaroon tayo ng mga supply issues kasi nagka-problema sa logistics, 'di ba? Yung mga ibang negosyo bumagal yung operations nila. Syempre, nagkaroon ng mga kung ano-anong regulations, no? Even yung mining affected. So, syempre, if the supply is decreased but halos wala namang nag-change in terms of the demand, syempre yung electricity kailangan pa rin naman ng mga tao 'yan, 'di ba? Ng mga establishments, ng mga industries. So, of course, yung price ng coal tataas. So, ngayon, punta tayo sa chart ng SEC. So, andito na tayo sa stock chart ng SEC. So, we're using the weekly chart, no? So, every candle corresponds to one trading week. So, ano yung nakikita natin sa price ng SEC? From 2021 towards 2022, nag-increase yung stock price ng SEC. And then, after that, from late 2022 towards 2023, second half. First half ng 2023, yung price bumaba. And second half of 2023 onwards up to present date, yung ginagawa ng SEC, sideways lang yung galaw ng price. So, we just talked about the price of seaborne coal just a while ago. And parehas na parehas yung movement niya, di ba? 2021 to 2022, early parts of 2023, mataas pa. And then, kalahati ng 2023, pababa, and 2024 up to the present date sideways. So this just proves yung pinag-uusapan natin kanina nung pinag-uusapan natin yung facts and yung speculation part ng video na to. SEC relies mostly yung revenue niya at income sa coal. So syempre, kung tumataas yung coal, andun yung potential na SEC will have an increase in the stock price kasi alam ng mga tao nagaganda yung revenues nila, alam nila nagaganda yung income. So somehow, nasusundan niya yung galaw. And another example of this, which is related sa mining din, kagaya ng gold. So, pwedeng alam nyo na napapanood nyo sa mga videos or ibang articles, and I was able to talk about this sa videos ko din. Gold has been increasing in price. Diba? And ano yung mga stocks na tumaas sa market natin? Andiyan yung APX, PX, OGP, Lepanto. So, syempre, tumataas yung gold. And itong mga mining companies na to, nagbebenta ng gold. Syempre, mag-i-increase yung revenue at income nila. So, basically, yung ginawa ng APX, PX at OGP at Lepanto is yung ginawa ng SEC from 2021 towards 2022, diba? Kasi yung product or yung goods na binibenta nila, nag-i-increase in price. So, syempre, magre-reflect yung revenue at income. So, hindi ko sinasabi na tataas ng ganito yung APX, PX at OGP. Ginagamit ko lang siya as an example. So, balik tayo sa SEC. Ngayon na nakikita nyo na halos sumasabay talaga yung galaw ng SEC in terms of coal prices, you already know na it's possible that the thing that can increase the price of SEC is if the demand for coal increases. dun sa mga countries na napag-usapan natin like China, like South Korea, and yung mga ibang countries pa, no, na nagsinusupply ng SEC. So, ibig sabihin, dito pumapasok yung risk na pag nag-decrease yung demand, pwedeng bumaba pa yung revenues ng SEC. So, that's why na-mention ko kanina na risk yun, di ba? Also, if global coal prices decrease because of decreased demand, syempre, bababa ulit yung revenue ng SEC. Tapos, ano pa yung isa? Pag nag-shift na yung Philippines towards renewables or natural gas, syempre, magdi-decrease yung revenue ng SEC because power plants that generate electricity from coal will also decrease. So ngayon, tingnan natin kung ano yung mga possible areas na magiging maganda yung galaw for SEC. So for the long term, walang ibang ginagawa yung SEC. It's just simply on a consolidation or sideways movement. As mentioned earlier, it's because of demand decreasing and global coal prices stabilizing. So in the medium term, sideways pa rin yung SEC, but of course in the short term we can see that it's on a downtrend. So kita naman natin yan. Starting March yung price ng SEC nasa 38.55 around that area. Tapos sa present prices na ngayon 33. So ibig sabihin meron talagang downtrend sa short term move ng SEC. So this also means that SEC yung nakikita ko talaga na important level niya na resistance is yung level na to, yung 38.80. Kasi ito yung pwedeng pumigil sa pagtaas ng price ng SEC pag inabot niya itong price levels na to. So, I think this is only possible if somehow for the rest of the year or the first half of 2026, mag-increase yung prices ng coal or mag-increase yung demand sa coal, no? Pag hindi nangyari yun, mahihirapan umabot yung SEC sa prices na to. And after this level, no, sabihin man natin na pala rin yung SEC at mabutas na yung level na yan, these prices yung kailangan abangan, yung 44.40 because naabot ng SEC yung prices na to when nag-increase talaga ng grabe yung price ng coal. So, it's very difficult if wala mismong catalyst sa fundamentals niya na malagpasan niya yung prices na to kung hindi man magkakaroon ng good news when it comes to the demand of coal and the increase in coal prices, no? So, ibig sabihin, mahirapan umabot yung SEC sa 44 kahit mabutas niya yung 38.81 levels. So, lalagyan natin to ng description, key level at 38.80. Tapos, another major level at 44.40. And I'll consider this as the major resistance for SEC. So, ngayon, tingnan natin yung possible downward move ng SEC. So, sa ngayon, we can clearly see na the prices of SEC, ang support niya talaga is itong level na to, yung around 32.10. So, nakikita natin na from April, no, towards the last week of August, ito talaga yung area kung saan maraming bumili ng SEC. So, I'm going to consider this as the first support area for SEC sa ngayon, no, on the weekly chart. So, the question is, if global prices of coal go down further and makita natin na mag-decrease pa rin yung export ng SEC sa ibang bansa, then hindi ako magugulat pag yung SEC bumaba ng support 1, no? At mag-breakdown siya dito. So, ang tanong, pagkatapos niyan, saan pwedeng makahanap ng support ang SEC? So, it's very clear then na during this period, yung December 2023, maraming kumuha sa SEC dyan, as well as April up to July 2023. So, ibig sabihin, yung bottom part ng range niya, tapos itong drawing ko na horizontal line, posible na ito yung S2 range, no, ng SEC. So, ibig sabihin, kapag nagkaroon ng negative news when it comes to coal and coal exports, hindi rin nakakagulat pag umabot yung price ng SEC sa levels na to. Now, the worst case scenario for SEC, pag nabutas yung S2, so, sa hindi natin masasabing specific reasons, no, pwedeng nagkaroon ng news na hindi nakukuha yung China ng imports from Philippines or hindi nakukuha yung South Korea or makita natin na talagang ang taas na ng production ng renewable sa Pilipinas. So, yun nga yung mga risk na napag-usapan natin for SEC, no? Pag nabutas itong level na to, yung 27 towards 28, ano yung possible na next support for SEC? So, nakikita natin na ito yung majority kung saan nagkakaroon ng buying previously yung SEC. So ito kasing area na to, I think this is an irrational move kasi the one that caused this is syempre yung pandemic at yung lockdowns, no, wherein a lot of people were acting in fear or nagpapanik. Pero majority of the prices of SEC even in 2011, 2012 andito. And ganun din pre-pandemic. So ibig sabihin pala, the lowest that it can go pwedeng around 16 to 17 and posible din yung around 24 area, no, since ayan yung major support ng SEC. Or if you're a bit optimistic about it, pwedeng hanggang dito lang since in recent periods lang naman to, 5 years ago, no. So ibig sabihin yan, at current prices, if SEC drops towards this area sa S2, at a minimum it can go negative 16% drop, and at the bottom part of the range, no, nearly 20% at 19% drop. If magkatotoo yung further downward trend in coal consumption and coal imports, di ba? Again, at these prices, if abutin niya yung worst case scenario projections, at a minimum, negative 29.64% drop. Pwede din umabot ng 40%, no? Kung magigi tayong optimistic sa sinabi natin kanina. So, pwedeng umabot sa 29% drop and around 40%. So again, itong mga scenarios na to, syempre pag naging sobrang bearish tayo niyan, 'di ba? Kung susundan lang natin yung trend na nangyayari when it comes to coal. So again, yung dividend yields ng SEC, so alam naman natin na it can go as high as 12%, no? And nakikita natin na it can also go to 8-9% every year. So, yung above 10% nila na dividend yields, nangyari yun nung ang ganda pa nung performance ng company nung mataas pa yung coal prices, diba? So, when you come to think of it, kung hindi tataas yung revenue at income nila, mahirapan silang ma-fulfill yung more than 10% na dividend yields. Pero, sige, assume lang natin na they are able to provide a dividend yield of between 8 to 12%. So, let's assume na you're able to have a position sa SEC, tapos pagbili mo, nag-drop siya dun sa napag-usapan natin na levels between S2 and the bottom part of the range. So, may 18% drop yan. So, ibig sabihin, pag bumili ka dito and then nag-drop yung SEC, kahit mabigyan ka ng 12% na yield, pero yung investment mo nag-drop ng nearly 20%, so negative ka pa rin, no, ng halos 8% or 9%. And even worse if prices go down further. So, what a lot of investors actually think is basta mataas yung dividend yields, okay na yon. So, what they're forgetting about is kahit kumikita ka ng dividends, no, if prices actually don't stay sa price levels kung saan ka nakapag-entry, mababawasan yung absolute gain mo, no, in terms of percentage. So, halimbawa, bumili ka ng SEC tapos nag-drop yung stock price ng 30%. So, ibig sabihin, sa dividend yield na 8 to 12% every year, it will take you about 3 to 4 years para mag-break even sa total investments mo, no? If, for example, nag-drop yung SEC tapos hindi binalikan yung stock price mo. So, of course, this means na you can only come out with a positive absolute gain, no, in terms of percentage kapag kumita ka ng dividends tapos yung prices same pa rin or better, tumaas yung prices. So, ayun lang yung nakikita natin na win-win situation, no? Kasi kung aasa ka sa dividend yields tapos bumaba yung stock tapos hindi na binalikan yung prices mo, syempre ang labas negative ka pa rin. So, don't let the illusions of good dividends cloud your judgment, no, when it comes to investing. Also consider yung capital appreciation and pagbaba ng overall investment mo. So, dapat ganun ka mag-compute, no? Hindi lang dahil nagagandahan ka sa dividends, papasok ka na kaagad. So, in conclusion, for me, sa short term to medium term, I'd be interested to buy SEC if there are trade setups available. So, pag nakita akong nagkakaroon siya ng potential, no, para malagpasan yung mga levels na napag-usapan ko kanina. And it would really be helpful if magkaroon ng catalyst for SEC, no, if somehow global coal prices increase, no, hindi man kagaya nung 3 to 4 years ago, pero kung magkaroon man ng increase sa global coal prices, no, pwedeng sumabay yung SEC doon, or magkaroon ng positive news sa SEC in the short term to medium term that will incentivize investors and other traders na pasukin yung SEC, no? Baka magkaroon ng short term to medium term setup where I can gain profits from capital appreciation without relying that much, no, sa dividends. But for the long term, I'm not looking to buy SEC until they are able to provide a clear-cut plan on how they're going to maneuver from coal-focused business to other power-generating business, no? Kasi para sa akin, kung papasok ako sa SEC para sa dividend yields, andun yung trend na nagdi-decrease na yung dividend yields nila kasi nga bumababa yung revenues, no? So, kung sinasabi sa global trends na bumababa na yung coal demand, coal consumption, no, coal power generation, then naiisip ko na posibleng bumaba pa yung revenues ng SEC in the future. So, that's why I think it's very important na mapakita nila na kaya na nilang mag-shift, no, sa ibang power generating business o di kaya ibang business mismo. So, nakalagay nga doon kanina, 'di ba? They're actually looking to go sa LNG or natural gas na industry. Or hindi natin alam, no, baka magkaroon sila ng merger with other power companies or pwedeng mag-acquire sila ng mga companies na may exposure pagdating sa renewable energy because clearly that's the goal of the government, no, of the Philippines. So, gusto natin mag-shift na sa renewable energy. So, baka may gawin, no, yung SEC para mapaganda yung long-term trend niya. So, how about you guys? Now, what do you think about SEC? So, let me know in the comment section below kung ano yung plano nyo sa SEC or kung ano yung nakikita nyong other positives or other negatives. And also, what stock do you think I should talk about next, no, na i-feature ko sa ganitong type ng video? So, kung anong stock yung pinakamaraming beses kong makita sa comment section, no, I might consider that na pag-usapan sa susunod. So if you want to watch my other videos, you can click the link towards the right. And please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe and turn on your notification bells so that you're updated kapag nag-release ako ng bagong video. So ayun lang and thank you for watching this video.